When your heart feels heavy, let these moments draw you back to peace. Welcome to Faith, Hope, Healing. Take a breath and let your heart settle. This is a place of peace, prayer, and God's promises. Wherever you are, God is near, and He meets you here. This video brings together some of our most loved prayer moments to calm your spirit today.
When the valley you never wanted becomes the path beneath your feet, God gives you courage. Find a comfortable place to sit or lie down. Relax your shoulders, close your eyes, and breathe deeply as you connect with God in this quiet moment. You didn't choose this valley, and you didn't ask for the weight you're carrying, or the long stretch of uncertainty that seems to have no clear exit. Yet here you are, walking through a season that feels deeper, darker, and longer than you ever imagined. Even when you feel unprepared, God has already placed within you the strength you need to take the next step. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's the quiet resolve to rise again, breathe again, and trust again. God is not waiting for you on the other side. He is walking with you in it. There are valleys in life that arrive without warning, seasons you never would have stepped into if you had been given a choice. These are the stretches where the path feels narrow, the days feel heavy, and the future feels uncertain. Yet even here, God is shaping a courage within you that does not depend on perfect circumstances or clear answers. He strengthens you in the quiet places where no one sees the struggle, and He steadies you when your heart feels overwhelmed by what lies ahead. In this valley, God is not asking you to be fearless. He is teaching you to trust Him step by step. Every moment you choose to keep going, even when you feel weary, becomes an act of courage. And in ways you cannot yet see, God is using this valley to deepen your faith, refine your strength, and prepare you for the place He is leading you next. There are moments in the valley when you look around and realize nothing feels familiar anymore. The routines that once gave you stability have shifted. The people you leaned on feel distant, and the strength you thought you had seems smaller than the challenges in front of you. This is the part of the valley that tests your heart the most, the place where you wonder if you're falling behind, losing ground, or somehow failing because the journey feels so heavy. But God is not measuring your progress by how quickly you move or how strong you appear. He sees every quiet effort, every whispered prayer, every step you take when you feel unsure. In this valley, God becomes your steady ground. He holds you when you feel unanchored, guides you when the path blurs, and reminds you that courage is not the absence of fear. It's choosing to trust Him even when you cannot see what comes next. There comes a point in the valley when you realize that strength is not something you feel. It's something God forms in you day by day. You may not notice it at first because His work in the valley is often quiet and hidden, unfolding beneath the surface of your emotions. But every time you choose to keep walking, every time you whisper a prayer instead of giving up, every time you lean on God instead of your own understanding, courage is being shaped within you. God uses these slow, stretching seasons to deepen your roots, so the storms of life cannot uproot you. He strengthens you in ways that last, not in temporary bursts of motivation, but in steady, enduring faith. And as this strength grows, you begin to sense a quiet shift within, an inner steadiness that wasn't there before, a calm assurance that God is not just carrying you through this valley, but transforming you in it. There are places in the valley where you begin to wonder if God still sees you, if He hears the prayers you whisper through tears, or if He notices how hard you're trying to keep going. These quiet questions don't make you weak, they make you human. And it's in these vulnerable moments that God draws even closer. He does not step back when your strength fades. He leans in. He surrounds you with a presence that steadies your breathing and calms the fear that rises in your chest. God is not distant from your pain or indifferent to your struggle. He walks beside you, carrying what you cannot carry and holding what feels too heavy for your heart. Even when you cannot feel Him, He is working in the unseen places of your life, guiding you through this valley with a love that refuses to let you go. There comes a time in the valley when God begins to restore a sense of direction, even if the path ahead is still dim. You may not receive a sudden breakthrough or a clear answer, but you start to notice small signs of His guidance. Quiet nudges, gentle reminders, moments of peace that settle your heart. These are not accidents. They are evidence that God is leading you step by step. In the valley, clarity rarely arrives all at once. It comes in pieces, in whispers, in the steady reassurance that you are not wandering aimlessly. God knows exactly where you are and exactly where He is taking you. Even when the way forward feels uncertain, He is aligning things you cannot see, preparing doors you have not reached, and shaping strength within you for what comes next. Your courage grows as you realize the valley is not the end. It is part of the journey God is using to guide you deeper into His purpose. There are lessons God can only teach in the valley, truths that don't take root on the mountaintop. In the quiet, hidden places of hardship, He reveals things about Himself and about you that would have remained unseen in easier seasons. You begin to recognize strength you didn't know you had, faith that runs deeper than emotion, and a resilience shaped by God's steady hand. The valley becomes a place where distractions fall away and your dependence on Him grows clearer. It's here that God refines your character, deepens your compassion, and strengthens your trust. What feels like a setback is often the soil where new courage is planted. And even though you may not understand the purpose of this season yet, God is using every step, every tear, and every moment of endurance to shape something in you that will last far beyond this valley. There are stretches in the valley that feel threatening, moments when the shadows seem longer and the path feels unsafe. These are the places where fear tries to rise and convince you that you are vulnerable and unprotected. But even here, God surrounds you with a covering stronger than anything that comes against you. His presence becomes a shield around your mind, your heart, and your steps. You may not see the danger He blocks or the attacks He stops before they ever reach you, but His protection is constant. God watches over you in the moments you feel exposed, and He guards you in the places where you feel most unsure. Nothing in this valley has caught Him off guard. He goes before you, walks beside you, and stands behind you. Even when the valley feels overwhelming, you are never unprotected. God's hand is over your life, holding you steady through every unseen battle. As you continue through this valley, God is preparing you for things you cannot yet see. The strength being formed in you is not temporary. It is shaping who you are becoming. Every step you take in faith, every moment you choose to trust instead of fear, is building a foundation that will carry you into the next season of your life. God is using this valley to sharpen your discernment, deepen your compassion, and strengthen your confidence in His voice. What feels like delay is often preparation, and what feels like stillness is often God aligning things on your behalf. You are not being held back. You are being made ready. When the time is right, God will lead you out of this valley with a courage that was forged in difficulty and a clarity that could only come from walking closely with Him through the hardest places. As you rise from this moment of stillness, carry with you the peace God has begun within you. You don't have to hold every thought or solve every burden at once. God walks with you, guiding your steps with clarity and surrounding your heart with steady compassion. If this time of quiet helped you breathe a little easier or feel a little lighter, know that you're not alone. There is a whole community here walking this journey of faith, hope, and healing with you. May God's calm rest over your mind, His strength steady your spirit, and His love remind you that you are deeply held. Thank you for spending this moment with me. If this brought you peace, feel free to share your experience in the comments. Your words may bless someone else who needs encouragement today. Until we meet again, may God's gentle clarity guide you, and may His presence stay close to your heart. When unseen battles surround you, God steps in with power, protection, and victory you cannot see. Take a slow breath and let your heart settle as you enter this moment of quiet. You may not fully understand the pressures you've been feeling or the heaviness that seems to come from nowhere, but God sees every hidden struggle pressing against your spirit. As you breathe deeply, imagine His presence rising like a shield around you, blocking what was meant to drain your strength. You don't have to fight every battle on your own, or even recognize every threat. God is already moving on your behalf. Let the tension in your shoulders ease as you remember that His protection is constant, steady, and unshaken by what you cannot see. In this stillness, allow His peace to settle over your mind and His strength to steady your heart, reminding you that you are never unguarded, never alone. As you settle into this moment, let your heart become aware of the quiet ways God is protecting you. Not every battle announces itself, and not every attack is visible, yet God stands between you and the pressures that try to overwhelm your spirit. The heaviness you felt lately may not be random. Some battles are spiritual, subtle, and designed to wear you down. But God has already stepped into the places you cannot see, blocking what was meant to harm you and weakening what was meant to break you. As you breathe slowly, imagine His presence forming a strong barrier around your mind, calming the thoughts that have been racing and silencing the fears that whisper in the background. You don't have to understand every struggle to be protected from it. Let this moment remind you that God is actively guarding your path, covering your vulnerabilities, and fighting for your peace with unwavering strength. Feel the quiet settle around you as you remember that God is fighting for you in ways far beyond what your eyes can see. Some of the pressure you've been feeling hasn't come from your circumstances alone. There are spiritual battles that move quietly, hoping to wear you down without explanation. But God has already stepped into those hidden places, pushing back what was meant to drain your strength and shielding you from attacks you never even knew were forming. As you breathe slowly, imagine His presence standing like a wall of light around you, blocking every scheme designed to steal your peace. You don't have to sense the battle for God to be winning it. Let your shoulders relax as you trust that His protection is active, constant, and unshaken. In this stillness, allow His strength to surround you, reminding you that no unseen force is greater than the God who guards your life. Notice how your spirit begins to settle as you remember that God is guarding you in ways far beyond your understanding. Some of the heaviness you've carried hasn't come from your circumstances alone. There are pressures that move quietly, hoping to weaken your confidence and drain your strength. Yet God has already stepped into those hidden places, pushing back what was meant to overwhelm you and covering you with protection you didn't even know you needed. As you breathe slowly, imagine His presence forming a shield around your heart, calming the tension that has been building and steadying the thoughts that have felt scattered. You don't have to see the battle for God to be winning it. Let this moment remind you that His defense is constant, His awareness perfect, and His strength unshaken. In this stillness, allow His peace to settle deeply within you, anchoring your spirit in the safety of His care. In this gentle stillness, let your heart recognize that God is working in places your eyes cannot reach. Some of the pressure you felt hasn't been random. It's the residue of battles happening beyond your awareness, battles meant to drain your strength and cloud your clarity. Yet God has already stepped into those unseen spaces, pushing back what was meant to unsettle you and weakening every force that hoped to steal your peace. As you breathe slowly, imagine His presence forming a protective covering over your mind, quieting the thoughts that have been restless and calming the fears that rise without warning. You don't have to understand every struggle to be shielded from it. God's defense is active, constant, and perfectly timed. Let this moment remind you that His power surrounds you, His wisdom guides you, and His strength is securing victories long before you ever face the outcome. Here, in God's calming presence, allow the weight you've been carrying to ease as you remember that God is fighting for you in ways far beyond what you can perceive. Some of the tension you felt hasn't come from your circumstances alone. There are unseen pressures that move quietly, hoping to weaken your confidence and drain your peace. Yet God has already stepped into those hidden places, pushing back what was meant to overwhelm you and covering you with protection you didn't even realize you needed. As you breathe slowly, imagine His strength rising around you like a shield, steadying your thoughts and calming the fears that have lingered beneath the surface. You don't have to sense the battle for God to be winning it. Let this moment remind you that His defense is constant, His awareness perfect, and His power greater than anything working against you. In this stillness, rest in the safety of His presence. With each slow breath, let your heart remember that God is standing between you and every unseen battle pressing against your life. Some of the heaviness you've carried hasn't come from your circumstances alone. There are spiritual pressures that move quietly, hoping to weaken your confidence and drain your peace without explanation. Yet God has already stepped into those hidden places, pushing back what was meant to overwhelm you and covering you with protection you didn't even realize you needed. As you breathe deeply, imagine His presence forming a strong barrier around your mind, calming the thoughts that have been racing and steadying the fears that rise without warning. You don't have to sense the battle for God to be winning it. Let this moment remind you that His defense is active, His awareness perfect, and His strength unshaken. In this stillness, rest in the assurance that God is fighting for you on every side. As peace rises within you, let your heart recognize that God is working in places far beyond your sight, pushing back battles that were never meant for you to fight alone. Some of the heaviness you've felt has come from pressures that move quietly, hoping to weaken your confidence and drain your strength without explanation. Yet God has already stepped into those hidden spaces, blocking what was meant to unsettle you and dismantling the plans formed against your peace. As you breathe slowly, imagine His presence surrounding you like a shield of light, calming the thoughts that have been restless and steadying the fears that rise without warning. You don't have to understand every struggle to be protected from it. God's defense is active, constant, and perfectly timed. In this stillness, let His strength settle deeply within you, reminding you that He is fighting for you in every unseen place. Let your heart rest in this quiet space as you remember that God is fighting for you in ways far beyond what your eyes can perceive. Some of the pressure you've been feeling hasn't come from your circumstances alone. There are unseen forces that move quietly, hoping to weaken your confidence and drain your peace without explanation. Yet God has already stepped into those hidden places, blocking what was meant to unsettle you and dismantling the plans formed against your spirit. As you breathe slowly, imagine His presence rising like a shield around you, calming the thoughts that have been restless and steadying the fears that surface without warning. You don't have to sense the battle for God to be winning it. His defense is constant, His strength unshaken, and His awareness perfect. In this stillness, let His peace settle deeply within you, reminding you that you are covered, protected, and never left to face the unseen alone. As you rise from this moment of stillness, carry with you the peace God has begun within you. You don't have to hold every thought or solve every burden at once. God walks with you, guiding your steps with clarity and surrounding your heart with steady compassion. If this time of quiet helped you breathe a little easier or feel a little lighter, know that you're not alone. There is a whole community here walking this journey of faith, hope, and healing with you. May God's calm rest over your mind, His strength steady your spirit, and His love remind you that you are deeply held. Thank you for spending this moment with me. If this brought you peace, feel free to share your experience in the comments. Your words may bless someone else who needs encouragement today. Until we meet again, may God's gentle clarity guide you, and may His presence stay close to your heart. When you feel too weak to keep going, God lifts you with quiet strength, peace, and steady courage. Find a comfortable place to sit or lie down. Relax your shoulders, Close your eyes and breathe deeply as you connect with God in this quiet moment. Let your breath slow as the weight you've been carrying begins to loosen its hold. You don't need to push or perform. Simply allow yourself to rest in this gentle stillness. God sees the exhaustion you've been hiding and understands the battles you've been fighting alone. In this quiet space, let His nearness steady your heart and soften the heaviness within you. You are not expected to be strong every moment. God surrounds you with a presence that restores what life has drained, offering comfort where you felt overwhelmed and strength where you felt empty. Let this moment become a place where your spirit can breathe again. As this moment unfolds, let your spirit ease into a deeper awareness of God's steady presence surrounding you. The exhaustion you've been carrying may still linger, but you don't have to hide it here. Let the quiet remind you that God is not disappointed in your weakness. He meets you with compassion and understands the weight that has drained your strength. With each slow breath, allow the tension in your chest to soften as you release the pressure to hold everything together. God sees the battles you've been fighting in silence, the moments when you felt like you were slipping, and the fears you've tried to push aside. In this gentle stillness, imagine His hand resting over your heart, calming the thoughts that have been racing. You are not forgotten and you are not failing. God is drawing near to steady what feels unsteady and strengthen what feels worn down within you. Feel the quiet deepen around you as you allow your heart to rest in this gentle pause. The strain you've been carrying may still echo through your thoughts, but in this stillness, let those echoes soften. God understands the fatigue that settles into your spirit, the kind that doesn't fade with sleep or distraction. As you breathe slowly, imagine His strength rising within the places that feel empty or worn thin. You don't have to rush toward solutions or force yourself to feel better. Simply let God meet you where you are. He sees the moments when you've held back tears, pushed through exhaustion, and kept going even when your hope felt fragile. In this quiet space, let His presence steady the parts of you that feel unsteady. Allow His peace to settle over your mind like a warm covering, reminding you that you are supported, upheld, and never left to struggle alone. Notice how your spirit begins to settle as you rest in this gentle pause, allowing the strain of the past days to loosen its grip on your heart. The heaviness you've been carrying may still linger, but in this quiet space, let God's presence soften the edges of your weariness. You don't have to sort through every worry or understand every challenge right now. Simply allow yourself to breathe and be held. God sees the moments when your strength has felt thin and your hope stretched beyond what you thought you could bear. As you inhale slowly, imagine His peace filling the places where fear has taken root, steadying your thoughts and calming the tension within you. Let the truth settle deeply. You are not abandoned in your struggle. God is near, offering a strength that rises gently, renewing what life has drained and restoring what has felt lost inside you. In this gentle stillness, let your heart acknowledge the battles you've been facing, the ones that have stretched your strength and left you feeling worn thin. You don't have to minimize the weight of what you've been carrying. God already knows the depth of your struggle. As you breathe slowly, imagine His protection rising around you like a shield, guarding your mind from the thoughts that overwhelm and the fears that whisper discouragement. God is not distant from your pain. He is present in every moment, fighting for you in ways you cannot see. Let the truth settle gently within you. The enemy's pressure does not have the final word. God's strength is greater than the heaviness pressing against your spirit. Allow His presence to steady what feels shaken and strengthen what feels fragile. In this quiet space, let His peace remind you that you are held, defended, and never left to face the battle alone. Here, in God's calming presence, allow the weight you've been carrying to ease just a little as you breathe slowly and let your thoughts settle. The pressure to stay strong, to keep moving, or to hold everything together has taken a toll on your spirit, and God understands that strain more deeply than anyone else. As you rest in this quiet moment, imagine His strength rising gently within you, not demanding effort, but offering support where you feel most fragile. God sees the places where your hope has thinned and your energy has faded, and He meets you with compassion rather than expectation. Let His nearness soften the tightness in your chest and quiet the worries that have been circling your mind. You don't have to prove anything here. Allow God's steady presence to renew what feels depleted and remind you that His strength is carrying you through this season. With each slow breath, let yourself lean into the truth that God is carrying you in ways you may not fully see or feel yet. The weight you've been holding has stretched your strength thin, but God's support does not depend on your ability to stand tall. As you rest in this quiet moment, imagine His hands steadying the parts of your life that feel unstable, lifting what has felt too heavy for you to manage alone. God understands the moments when your courage wavers and your hope feels fragile, and He meets you with compassion rather than pressure. Let His presence calm the thoughts that have been racing and soften the fears that have lingered in the background of your mind. You don't have to figure everything out right now. Allow God's strength to rise gently within you, reminding you that you are upheld, protected, and never left to walk this difficult path without His help. As peace rises within you, allow your heart to open to the quiet reassurance that God is renewing your strength in ways that may feel subtle but are deeply real. The heaviness you've been carrying doesn't disappear all at once. Yet in this moment, you can sense a gentle shift, like a soft light breaking through a long stretch of clouds. God understands the fatigue that has settled into your spirit and the moments when you've wondered how much longer you can keep going. As you breathe slowly, imagine His presence filling the empty spaces within you, restoring what has felt drained and strengthening what has felt fragile. You don't have to rush this process. God works steadily, patiently, and with perfect timing. Let His calm settle over your thoughts and soften the worries that have been weighing on your mind. In this stillness, trust that God is rebuilding your strength from the inside out. Let your heart rest in this quiet space as you allow God's strength to steady what has felt uncertain within you. The struggles you've been facing may not have changed yet, but something within you is beginning to shift, slowly, gently, like a small light growing in a dim room. God understands the weight of your worries and the moments when your courage has felt thin, and He meets you with patience rather than pressure. As you breathe deeply, imagine His presence surrounding you like a warm shelter, calming the thoughts that have been racing and easing the tension that has settled into your body. You don't have to solve everything in this moment. Simply let God hold what feels too heavy. Trust that He is working in the places you cannot see, strengthening your spirit and guiding your steps with quiet clarity. In this stillness, let His peace anchor you in hope again. As you rise from this moment of stillness, carry with you the peace God has begun within you. You don't have to hold every thought or solve every burden at once. God walks with you, guiding your steps with clarity and surrounding your heart with steady compassion. If this time of quiet helped you breathe a little easier or feel a little lighter, know that you're not alone. There is a whole community here walking this journey of faith, hope, and healing with you. May God's calm rest over your mind, His strength steady your spirit, and His love remind you that you are deeply held. Thank you for spending this moment with me. If this brought you peace, feel free to share your experience in the comments. Your words may bless someone else who needs encouragement today. Until we meet again, may God's gentle clarity guide you, and may His presence stay close to your heart. When the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord raises a standard. Find a comfortable place to sit or lie down. Relax your shoulders, close your eyes, and breathe deeply as you connect with God in this quiet moment. There are seasons where the pressure of life feels like a rising tide, threatening to sweep away your peace and overwhelm your very soul. You may feel the rush of anxiety or the cold pull of doubt as circumstances shift beyond your control. Yet, it is in these precise moments of high intensity that the power of God becomes most visible on your behalf. He is not a distant observer of the storm. He is the sovereign king who commands the waves. The flood may arrive without warning, but it does not arrive without a defender. You are not standing alone against the weight of the water, for the Lord has already established a boundary that the darkness cannot cross. Breathe in His strength and know that the battle belongs to Him. As this moment unfolds, let your heart acknowledge that warfare is not always a loud clash of swords. Often, it is the quiet refusal to let fear take root in your mind. The enemy's flood is designed to make you forget who you are and whose you are, but God's standard is a banner of truth that stands tall above the wreckage. In this gentle stillness, you can begin to see that the rising water is merely a backdrop for a greater display of divine authority. God is not intimidated by the volume of the attack or the speed of the current. He is strengthening your inner man, building a resilience that is anchored in His unchanging word. Every wave that tries to knock you down is actually pushing you closer to the heart of your Father. Notice how the frantic energy of the world begins to dissipate as you lean into the steady, rhythmic breathing of a soul that knows it is protected. You are being covered by a grace that is far more powerful than any weapon formed against you. With each slow breath, visualize the Spirit of the Lord moving across the surface of your situation, bringing order where there was once only chaos. The biblical promise that a standard will be raised is a legal decree from the courts of heaven, stating that your life is off limits to the destructive power of the flood. Here, in God's calming presence, the heavy mist of confusion begins to lift, allowing you to see the path that has been prepared for you. You do not need to shout to be heard or strive to be saved. You simply need to rest in the finished work of Christ. The enemy uses the flood to create a sense of urgency and panic, but the Spirit of God uses the stillness to restore your clarity and your confidence. Feel the temperature of your spirit begin to stabilize as you realize that the foundation beneath your feet is solid rock. The waters may roar and be troubled, but the city of God remains glad because the Most High is in her midst, and He will help her at the break of day. Notice how your spirit begins to settle as the truth of God's sovereignty settles into the deep places of your heart. Warfare in the kingdom is often won through the weapon of rest, for resting in God is the ultimate declaration of trust. When you refuse to be moved by the sight of the flood, you are raising a standard of faith that silences the voice of the accuser. God is currently aligning His heavenly hosts on your behalf, ensuring that every area of vulnerability is reinforced by His strength. You are being taught how to stand your ground without being consumed by the struggle. In this quiet space, let the Lord remind you that His power is perfected in your weakness. The very flood that was intended to destroy you is being repurposed by God to wash away the things that were holding you back. You are coming out of this season with a deeper understanding of His faithfulness and a sharper discernment of His voice. Even when the wind is high, you are a victor. In this gentle stillness, consider the reality that the standard of the Lord is not just a sign, it is a person, and His name is Jesus. He is the one who walked on the very waves that terrified the disciples, and He is walking on the waves of your flood right now. He is not asking you to master the storm. He is asking you to keep your eyes on Him while He masters it for you. Sense the calm gathering around you as the weight of the battle is transferred from your shoulders to His. You have been fighting from a place of exhaustion, but God is inviting you to fight from a place of victory. The floodwaters are temporary, but the standard of God is eternal. He is the refuge that never fails, and the high tower where you are safe from the reach of the enemy. Every attempt to drown your hope is being met with a fresh outpouring of His Spirit, filling you with a peace that surpasses all understanding. You are deeply held, fiercely protected, and completely loved by the King. As peace rises within you, allow the scriptural truth of God's protection to become your primary reality. The enemy may come in like a flood, but he is still subject to the one who set the bars and doors for the sea. God is measuring the waters in the hollow of his hand, and not a single drop can move without his permission. This is the essence of spiritual warfare, realizing that the scale of the attack is nothing compared to the scale of your defender. Let your heart rest in this quiet space as the Spirit of the Lord breathes life back into the weary parts of your soul. You are being equipped with a quiet boldness that does not need to roar to be effective. The standard that has been raised is a signal to the darkness that it has gone far enough. The tide is turning, and the ground is being reclaimed in the name of the Lord. You are standing in the center of a divine turnaround, where the very thing that sought to end your journey will become the soil for your greatest breakthrough. Sense the calm gathering around you as you prepare to move forward with a renewed sense of purpose. The flood may have left things looking different, but God is the master of restoration. He uses the intensity of the battle to refine your character and to deepen your dependence on his power. You are not the same person who entered this storm. You are stronger, wiser, and more attuned to the presence of the Holy Spirit. The standard of the Lord is now etched into your spirit, serving as a permanent reminder that you are more than a conqueror through him who loved you. Here, in God's calming presence, you can release any lingering fear and replace it with a steady, quiet joy. The enemy's attempt to overwhelm you has only succeeded in bringing you closer to the source of your strength. You are rising above the flood, not by your own effort, but by the lifting power of the Spirit. Trust that the path ahead is clear, for the Lord is going before you to make it straight. Let your heart rest in this quiet space as you soak in the final moments of this devotional. The battle has been heavy, but the victory is certain. You have learned that the flood is no match for the standard, and your fear is no match for the love of God. The atmosphere around you is shifting from warfare to worship, for worship is the highest form of spiritual battle. As you honor God in the midst of the storm, you are reinforcing the standard that has been raised on your behalf. Notice how the pressure has eased and the noise has faded into the background. You are surrounded by the songs of deliverance, and the peace of God is guarding your heart and your mind. There is a new level of authority being released in your life, an authority that comes from knowing that the Lord is your light and your salvation. You no longer have to fear the rising tide, for you know the one who holds the oceans. You are safe, secure, and ready to face the day with the strength of God. Feel the quiet deepen around you as you integrate these truths into your inner being. You are carrying a standard of victory into every room you enter and every conversation you have. The flood has lost its power to intimidate you because you have seen the Lord raise his hand in your defense. Remember that spiritual warfare is won in the secret place of prayer and then manifested in the public place of life. You have been strengthened in the secret place today, and that strength will sustain you through every challenge that comes your way. The Spirit of the Lord is your constant companion, guiding you with clarity and surrounding you with a peace that the world cannot give or take away. As you transition back into your day, carry the quiet confidence of a soldier who knows the outcome of the war. You are under the shadow of the Almighty, and his faithfulness is your shield. The flood has receded, and you are standing on solid ground, ready for the purpose God has for you. As you rise from this moment of stillness, carry with you the peace God has begun within you. You don't have to hold every thought or solve every burden at once. God walks with you, guiding your steps with clarity and surrounding your heart with steady compassion. If this time of quiet helped you breathe a little easier or feel a little lighter, know that you're not alone. There is a whole community here walking this journey of faith, hope, and healing with you. May God's calm rest over your mind, his strength steady your spirit, and His love remind you that you are deeply held. Thank you for spending this moment with me. If this brought you peace, feel free to share your experience in the comments. Your words may bless someone else who needs encouragement today. Until we meet again, may God's gentle clarity guide you, and may His presence stay close to your heart. When your weary soul feels completely exhausted, and every breath feels like a heavy uphill climb, find a comfortable place to sit or lie down. Relax your shoulders, close your eyes, and breathe deeply as you connect with God in this quiet moment. There are days when the weight of the world seems to press down with an intensity that threatens to extinguish your inner light. You might feel as though you are standing at the very edge of your endurance, wondering if there is anything left to give. It is in these exact moments of profound depletion that God's strength is most ready to be poured out. He is not looking for a polished version of you, nor does He require you to gather your own fragments before you approach Him. He meets you in the middle of the wreckage, in the center of the exhaustion, and in the silence of your tired heart. You are not failing because you feel broken. You are simply human, and you are deeply loved by the Creator who knows every single limit of your frame. In this gentle stillness, allow yourself to acknowledge the reality of your fatigue without judgment or shame. The world often demands that we keep moving, keep producing, and keep smiling, even when our spirits are drained to the very last drop. But God invites you to a different rhythm, one of rest and honest surrender. He sees the battles you have fought in secret and the burdens you have carried across long, lonely miles. He knows when your spirit has reached its breaking point, and He does not pull away. Instead, He draws closer, offering a peace that does not depend on your circumstances changing. You may feel as though you are falling behind or losing your way, but God is holding you steady, even when you cannot feel your feet touching the ground. Every sigh of your heart is heard, and every tear is seen by the One who promised to never leave you. Trust that He is currently weaving a net of grace beneath you, catching you as you let go of the need to be strong for everyone else. Sense the calm gathering around you as you release the pressure to have all the answers for tomorrow's problems. When your spirit feels broken, the future can look like a daunting mountain that you have no strength to climb. However, God does not ask you to navigate the entire journey in a single moment. He provides the manna for today, the light for the next step, and the breath for this very second. Notice how the demand to be enough begins to fade when you realize that His grace is already sufficient for every weakness you possess. You are entering a sacred space where your vulnerability is not a liability, but an invitation for divine power to rest upon you. The cracks in your spirit are not signs of permanent damage. They are the places where the light of God's presence can finally shine through with the most clarity. Rest in the knowledge that you are being rebuilt from the inside out, not by your own frantic efforts, but by the steady, loving hands of a Father who treasures you. As this moment unfolds, let the tension in your mind begin to dissolve like mist in the morning sun. You have been trying to solve things that were never meant for you to carry alone, and your spirit has grown weary from the friction of the fight. God is stepping into that weariness now, bringing a divine stillness that transcends human understanding. He is the God of the broken-hearted and the healer of the crushed in spirit, and He is moving through the quiet corridors of your soul to bring restoration. You do not have to perform for Him or prove that you are making progress. You simply have to be here, present, and open to the restorative touch of His Spirit. Feel the shift from striving to receiving as you realize that the battle belongs to Him. He is your advocate in the darkness and your shield in the storm, standing guard over your heart while you recover. This time of quiet is not a luxury. It is a vital reconnection to the source of life that will never run dry. With each slow breath, imagine the heavy layers of expectation falling away from your shoulders one by one. There is a profound strength found in simply staying still and knowing that God is God. When your spirit feels brittle, It is often because you have been trying to hold everything together by the sheer force of your will. Here, in this moment of devotion, you are permitted to let it all go. God is large enough to handle the pieces of your life that feel scattered and beyond repair. He is the master craftsman who specializes in making all things new, and He is working in the hidden depths of your exhaustion to forge a resilience that will not break. You may feel like you are in a season of winter, where everything is dormant and cold, but beneath the surface, God is preparing the soil for a new kind of growth. Courage is being shaped in the silence, and faith is being anchored in the deep waters of your trust. You are safe in His grip, and His hold on you is strong. Notice how your spirit begins to settle into a deeper layer of peace that the world cannot take away. It is easy to feel spiritual when things are going well, but the most authentic faith is often forged in the furnace of a broken spirit. God is using this time of weakness to teach you how to lean into Him with a desperation that turns into intimacy. He is becoming your refuge, not just a concept, but a living reality that you can retreat into at any time. When you feel you have nothing left to give, remember that His storehouse of mercy is renewed every morning. You are being replenished right now, even if it feels like a slow process. The healing of a broken spirit is rarely a sudden event. It is a gentle unfolding of grace over time. Allow yourself the grace to be in process, to be tired, and to be held. You are being strengthened for the days ahead in ways that you cannot yet see, but the foundation is being laid by the One who created the stars and knows you. As peace rises within you, try to visualize the hands of God surrounding your life like a protective fortress. The days that break your spirit are the days where the enemy tries to tell you that you are abandoned, but the truth is that God is closer than your very breath. He is the silent companion who walks through the fire by your side, ensuring that the flames do not consume you. The exhaustion you feel is a signal to stop fighting in your own power and to start resting in His. There is no shame in reaching the end of yourself, for that is where the infinite nature of God begins to manifest. He is stretching your capacity to receive His love and deepening your understanding of His faithfulness. You are not being punished by the weight of this season. You are being prepared for a weight of glory that far outweighs the current struggle. Let the quietness of this moment remind you that you are a child of the Most High, and your inheritance is a strength that never fails. Let your heart rest in this quiet space, where the noise of the world is finally muffled by the presence of the Spirit. You have been listening to the voices of doubt and the echoes of your own tiredness for too long. Now, listen to the whisper of God telling you that you are enough simply because you are His. He is restoring the joy of your salvation and knitting back together the parts of your soul that felt frayed and disconnected. Every moment spent in this stillness is a brick being laid in the wall of your spiritual defense. You are becoming more than a conqueror, not by winning every battle, but by remaining steadfast in the love of Christ through every defeat. The strength for the days that break your spirit is not a surge of adrenaline. It is the steady, rhythmic heartbeat of God's grace sustaining you through the night. Rest in the assurance that the sun will rise again, and when it does, you will find that His power has been perfected in your weakness. Feel the quiet deepen around you as you prepare to transition back into the world with a renewed sense of divine support. You are not going back out alone. The same God who met you in this stillness is walking with you into the next hour, the next day, and the next challenge. The spirit that felt broken is now being reinforced with the gold of God's wisdom and the silver of His comfort. You have found a wellspring of life in the middle of a desert, and you can return to this place of prayer whenever the road feels too long. Remember that your identity is not defined by your level of exhaustion, but by the One who calls you His own. You have been given the armor of God for the battle, but you have also been given His heart for the rest. As you move forward, carry the quiet confidence of a soul that has been seen, heard, and helped by the King of Kings. Your spirit is not just surviving, it is being revived for a purpose that is greater than any pain you have endured. As you rise from this moment of stillness, carry with you the peace God has begun within you. You don't have to hold every thought or solve every burden at once. God walks with you, guiding your steps with clarity and surrounding your heart with steady compassion. If this time of quiet helped you breathe a little easier or feel a little lighter, know that you're not alone. There is a whole community here walking this journey of faith, hope, and healing with you. May God's calm rest over your mind, His strength steady your spirit, and His love remind you that you are deeply held. Thank you for spending this moment with me. If this brought you peace, feel free to share your experience in the comments. Your words may bless someone else who needs encouragement today. Until we meet again, may God's gentle clarity guide you, and may His presence stay close to your heart. Regardless of the storm outside, your victory is firmly anchored in the unchanging love of God. Find a comfortable place to sit or lie down. Relax your shoulders, close your eyes, and breathe deeply as you connect with God in this quiet moment. This is the foundational truth that allows you to stand unshaken when the world around you is in a state of constant flux. You are invited to step into a reality where your peace is not a byproduct of your situation, but a reflection of your Savior. True spiritual authority is found in the quiet confidence that the battle has already been decided in the courts of heaven. You are not fighting for a victory that might happen. You are living from a victory that has already been secured. Feel the tension leave your body as you realize that the weight of the outcome does not rest on your shoulders. God is the one who goes before you, and His faithfulness is the shield that surrounds your life. In this moment, let the noise of your circumstances fade. As this moment unfolds, recognize that a heart at rest is the enemy's greatest defeat. When you refuse to allow your internal peace to be dictated by your external environment, you are demonstrating the highest form of spiritual authority. God is inviting you into a life where the standard He raises is not just a temporary shield, but a permanent residence. You have been refined by the flood and strengthened by the fire, and now you stand as a testament to His sustaining grace. The noise of the world may continue to roar, but it no longer has a hold on your identity. You are defined by the one who calls you more than a conqueror, not by the trials that tried to claim you. Carry this triumphant perspective into every interaction and every task ahead. The victory is not coming. The victory is already here, dwelling within you through the power of the Holy Spirit. Walk out with the quiet confidence of a soul that has seen the Lord's hand and knows that He is always faithful. Feel the quiet deepen around you as you embrace the truth that God's strength is perfected in your perceived weakness. When the pressure of life attempts to convince you that you are failing, the Spirit of the Lord whispers that you are actually being positioned for a breakthrough. Victory is not always found in the absence of a struggle. It is found in the presence of the one who has already overcome the world. Take a moment to release the need to understand every detail of the road ahead. You are being held by an infinite wisdom that sees the end from the beginning, ensuring that every stumbling block becomes a stepping stone toward your divine purpose. As you breathe in, imagine the heavy weight of performance falling away, replaced by the light and easy yoke of Christ. The victory is not something you have to manufacture through sheer willpower or tireless effort. Notice how your spirit begins to settle into a rhythm of rest that the world cannot duplicate or destroy. This triumphant peace is a supernatural shield that guards your mind and your heart from the arrows of despair. You are standing on ground that has already been conquered by the King of Kings, meaning that every trial you face is already subject to His ultimate authority. Do not be intimidated by the scale of the obstacles before you, for they are merely the backdrop for a greater display of God's glory in your life. As you exhaled the remnants of fear, Feel a new boldness rising within your inner man. You were never meant to carry the burden of the battle alone. The Lord of hosts is your defender, and his banner over you is love. This is a victory that remains steady regardless of the shifting tides of human opinion or worldly success. It is a heavenly inheritance that is kept secure for you, untouchable by the darkness, and unshakable by the storms of time. In this gentle stillness, let the realization wash over you that you are backed by the full resources of heaven. The enemy's greatest tactic is to make you feel isolated and overwhelmed, but the standard of God's truth declares that you are surrounded by an angelic host. Your victory is not a fragile thing that can be stolen by a bad day or a difficult season. It is a permanent seal placed upon your life by the Holy Spirit. As you lean into this divine protection, your perspective begins to shift from the problem to the provider. You are gaining a high ground view of your life, seeing that the mountains that once looked impassable are now small in the light of God's majesty. Every breath you take is a reminder that you are alive and purposed for this specific hour. The grace that has brought you this far is the same grace that will lead you home in triumph. Rest in the knowledge that you are more than a conqueror through him who loves you. The battle is the Lord's. Here, in God's calming presence, allow the noise of the world's demands to be replaced by the quiet confidence of the Spirit. You are discovering that true victory is not a destination you reach, but a state of being that you carry within you. Even when the outward circumstances remain unchanged, your internal reality has been transformed by the light of Christ. The pressure to perform or to prove your worth is melting away in the warmth of unconditional love. You no longer have to strive for a position of favor, because you are already seated in heavenly places with him. As you sit in this stillness, feel the restoration of your soul as the shepherd leads you beside the still waters of his peace. Every jagged edge of your heart is being smoothed by the gentle touch of the Father, who knows your needs before you even speak them. The strength you are receiving now is not a temporary surge, but a lasting foundation that will sustain you through any season. You are being renewed. With each slow breath, visualize the walls of resistance falling down before the power of the Lord's presence. You are learning that spiritual warfare is often won in the secret place of surrender, where you lay down your own understanding to take up the wisdom of God. The victory that was won on the cross is now being manifested in the details of your daily life, turning every setback into a setup for a greater testimony. Do not grow weary in the waiting, for the timing of God is perfect, and his promises are always yes and amen. You are being strengthened with a patience that is not passive, but powerfully expectant of the good things to come. Feel the steadying hand of God upon your life, guiding you away from the frantic pace of the world and into the rhythmic grace of his kingdom. There is no shadow that can hide the light of his truth, and there is no weapon that can prosper against the child of the King. You are covered by a mercy that is new every single morning. As peace rises within you, notice how the shadows of doubt begin to dissipate in the brilliance of God's glory. You are being equipped with a spiritual resilience that is anchored in the eternal, making you unshakable in the face of temporary trials. The victory you carry is a light that shines brightest in the darkest moments, offering hope not only to your own heart, but to everyone you encounter. You are a vessel of divine comfort, called to demonstrate the reality of a kingdom that is not of this world. Let your heart be encouraged by the fact that God is working behind the scenes on your behalf, aligning every detail for your benefit and his honor. You can afford to be still because the Creator of the universe is active in your situation. The weight of the world is light compared to the glory that is being revealed through your faith. Take a deep breath and settle into the quiet joy of knowing that you are never alone. The Lord is your shepherd, and you shall not want for anything. Let your heart rest in this quiet space as you acknowledge that the God who created the heavens is the same God who is personally invested in your success. You are entering a new dimension of spiritual maturity, where your joy is no longer a hostage to your environment. The standard that has been raised in your life is a signal of hope to those around you, proving that it is possible to remain peaceful even when the floodwaters rise. Take a final, deep breath and feel the lingering presence of the Holy Spirit settling upon you like a warm mantle. You have been refreshed and recalibrated for the days ahead, carrying a victory that is as certain as the sunrise. There is nothing in your future that has not already been screened through God's sovereign hands. You can walk forward with a light heart, knowing that the King is your constant companion and your eternal reward. The atmosphere of heaven is now your internal home, providing a sanctuary of rest that the world can never take away. As you rise from this moment of stillness, carry with you the peace God has begun within you. You don't have to hold every thought or solve every burden at once. God walks with you, guiding your steps with clarity and surrounding your heart with steady compassion. If this time of quiet helped you breathe a little easier or feel a little lighter, know that you're not alone. There is a whole community here walking this journey of faith, hope, and healing with you. May God's calm rest over your mind, His strength steady your spirit, and His love remind you that you are deeply held. Thank you for spending this moment with me. If this brought you peace, feel free to share your experience in the comments. Your words may bless someone else who needs encouragement today. Until we meet again, may God's gentle clarity guide you, and may His presence stay close to your heart.
Thank you for spending this time in prayer. May God's peace go before you, His strength surround you, and His presence stay with you long after this moment ends. You are not alone. God is with you.